Oh, I know that sound. It's time for the Beer and News Report. Hi, and welcome to the Beer and News Report. Cheers. Today I'm drinking a beer from Peru called Cristal. This beer is great. Smooth to the taste, very refreshing. I gotta hand it to those Incans. They know how to brew a beer. I highly recommend you try this beer. And with that, cheers. Today I'm going to dedicate this show to two friends of mine that unfortunately have passed away this year. Bruce Cabral, who was a really good friend of mine. He was one of my first friends when I moved out to California. And Herb Pearl. I met Herb when I was working at eBay. What this show is going to be about a new style of gambling called the Polymarket. So grab a beer, put on your lucky gambling hat because the show is about to start. Cheers. Games and gambling have been around for centuries. Even before we could write, games like Hounds and Jackals or the royal game of and let's not forget the classic Indian game of Gyan Chapur, which we now call Chutes and Ladders. But wait a minute, we don't bet when playing Chutes and Ladders. I mean, checkers isn't a betting game. Well, yeah, not in the present day because we have so many other things we can bet on. But back in the olden days, betting occurred in almost every board game that was being played. That brings me to a great story about the game of chess. Chess got its start in India, and there was this king who ruled there over the region of Ambala. He was a gambler. Now, the story is he was visited by this traveling sage, and he challenged the king to a game of chess. Before the game got started, the king said, well, what are we betting on? What's the prize to whoever wins? And the sage, being a traveling man with little need for fine gifts, just asked for rice, which was recounted in the following way. You give me 1 grain of rice for the first square, then 2 grains of rice for the second square, 4 grains of rice for the third square, 8 grains of rice on the fourth square, and so on and so on. Each square doubled the amount of rice of the previous square. I mean, obviously to me, sounds like a setup. You probably see it too, right? We can all see the setup, right? Cheers. But the king, he didn't really see it. So the king was like, fine, I can do that. So the game of chess was played. Of course, the king lost. So being true to his word, the king told his courtiers to come out, collect some rice so that the sage could be paid out. King counted out, okay, here's 1, here's 2, here's 4, here's 8, here's 16. And by the time he completed the first row, he was at 128 grains of rice. So now he was on the second row. So 256 grains, and then 512 grains, 1,024 grains, and then 2,048. By the time he finished the second row, he was up to 32,768 grains of rice on the last square. Now the king started to realize that something was wrong. This was going to cost more rice than he originally thought. So he called in his mathematician. Hey, here's the whole problem. I'm doubling rice every time I do another square. How much rice is this going to cost you by the time I get to this square? The mathematician starts calculating away and stuff. And they go up to the king. They whisper and say, it'll cost you 9 quintillion grains of rice. That's a 9 with 18 zeros behind it. And remember, there was already another 9 quintillion before you even got that. So total would be 18 quintillion grains of rice. At this point, the sage revealed himself to be the god Krishna in disguise. And he told the king that he did not have to pay the prize all in one go, right? He instead could pay it over time because obviously he didn't have that much rice. And the king said, okay, thank you. And to this day, when pilgrims visit the Ambala temple, they're served pal payasam because the king has to pay off his debt. He's still paying his debt till today. Now, pal payasam is an Indian dessert made from rice and milk. I gotta appreciate that the king can hold out for this long. I mean, that's a true man of his word, and I raise my glass of beer to that king. Cheers. Now, jumping forward to modern days, we have so many ways and places to gamble. I live in the Bay Area, so Reno's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. I remember one time my parents came out and I took them to Reno. I said, okay, let's gamble. And my mom, she always wondered what would happen if she took $1,000 and just played the dollar slots. Now, I'm not a big fan of slot machines. I like the crap tables or Pai Gow poker. Anyway, I bring them to the slot machine closest to where I'm playing so I can keep an eye on them, or if they need me, I'm close by. Now, think about it. $1,000 on a dollar slot machine, that's going to take a long time. So I would check on them every hour to see how they're doing. And they would say something nonchalant like, yeah, we're still winning. We're still ahead. So about 3 or 4 hours go by, and they've finally gone through the whole $1,000 and asked them, well, how did you do? And they were like, yeah, well, we did all right. We made $400, and now we're just going to play off our winnings. Let us know when you want to go back to the room. And I'm like, holy cow. They played $1,000. They're up 400, which is great. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to play a little while longer, and I think I played for like another hour or so. By the end of the night, I think I was also up like $100. So that was a good night for all of us. But that's not the best part. When I checked in, they gave us casino cards and they said whenever you play something, there's a little slot, like in the slot machine, you put the card in the slot. Or if you're going to play craps, you give the card to the dealer. So the whole night we're playing so much that it turned out that the casino comped us our room and gave us a free dinner. I mean, that was one of the best times I ever had at Reno. Cheers. Now, I've done my share of gambling, and I remember when the Kentucky Derby was happening, Santa Clara County Fairgrounds is where I live. They would allow horse betting. So me and my friends would go there, and we would bet on the horses while drinking mint juleps. That's the closest thing I had to sports betting. Now, like I said, my friend Herb, that's a different story. He would bet on any sport, and his favorite was college football or pro basketball. He had his stats, and he knew the odds. So when he made a bet, he was pretty sure that he was going to win. And he often did. Like I said, it was a side business for him. It's just one of many ways that people gamble. Now, when it comes to gambling, I prefer the stock market. I don't think it's as risky as gambling as long as you're good at reading charts and understanding the fundamentals. I'll go as far as doing options when I'm playing the stock market. And if you want to know what options are, you got to check out my show called Options. I'm not going to do it here. And there are other markets that you can gamble on, like the futures, the commodities. It used to be that you could buy the futures on gasoline right before Memorial Day. And then when Memorial Day hit, gas prices would skyrocket because that's when everyone starts going on vacations and stuff. It was almost a sure thing, but that's gone away. It's not as certain as it used to be nowadays. Now, you can also bet on currency. That's called the Forex Market. You can bet on any country's currency like the American dollar or the euro, the pound, the peso. You can bet its value going up or down compared to another currency of another country. It doesn't have to be the American dollar, right? Any combination of currencies against each other. Now, companies do this regularly as they have to buy something in one country and then bring it to another country to build it. Now, is it cheaper to use the currency of the country that you're buying the part from, or should you use the currency of the country that you're building the end product in? By choosing the right currency, you can save a ton of money. Of course, not paying corporate taxes is also a great way of saving money. Cheers. Sticking with the Forex market, think about what might make the dollar lose value. Going to a war would do that. 9/11 did it, the pandemic, an oil crisis, or a big natural disaster. Now, there's another way that the American dollar can rise or lower in value, and that's based on what the Federal Reserve Bank does to the interest rate. In fact, that's probably the most common way that the dollar either gains or loses value. The Feds base their actions on inflation. If the job market is hot and prices are rising, they'll raise inflation rates to calm things down. Now, we're currently in this state of inflation, so you should expect interest rates to go up. Now, some really smart people get tired of the government ruling over their financial futures, and they develop Bitcoin. Now, with Bitcoin, you have to trust computers because Bitcoin is just data on a computer that people are accepting as value. Now, a lot of people say Bitcoin is nothing. The American dollar, you can see it, you can feel it, it's real. But think about it, that is just a piece of paper. Does it really have value? No, it's just because it says the American dollar is on it. So you've placed your trust in that piece of paper. None of the stuff around us is real, but if you believe in it, and if enough people believe in it, then we can develop a business around it and develop wealth. Now, Bitcoin is no different. Bitcoin isn't the only one out there. I mean, there's literally over 2,000 types of cryptocurrencies, and some are tied to the American dollar, some are tied to businesses. China is trying to develop their own crypto yuan, but there's one out there called Ethereum. This is the second hottest cryptocurrency, and it is tied to making smart contracts. Now, I don't have time to go into what a smart contract is, but basically it removes the middleman and replaces it with a smart contract. So deals are cheaper and more efficient. Now, that's definitely going to make a wave in the future. Cheers. So what's the next level of gambling? Well, enter the Polymarket. Here you can bet on anything. This is what the website looks like when you log in. You pick a certain topic that you're interested in or just scan the current bets going on, like will Donald Trump win the Republican nominee in 2024? Now, for this bet, you choose on whether it's going to be yes or no. Right now, the no's are winning 60 to 40. To the left, it tells you the volume of bets. Currently, it's over 100,000. Basically, you deposit money into the system, choose a topic you want to bet on, and how much you want to wager. Then you pick which way it'll go, and you just wait and see if you win. So how does this work? If you go to the top of the page, and to the right, you'll see portfolio. Now click on that, and then scroll down to where you see the disclaimer, and it reads, Polymarket is for informational and educational purposes only. We take no custody of anyone's money or cryptocurrency, extract no profits, nor do we host any market ourselves. Polymarket displays existing markets live on the Ethereum blockchain or sidechains and is a graphical user interface for both visualizing data and market trends from on-chain activity and interacting with said smart contracts directly via your Web3 enabled wallet. So there you have it. These are basically smart contracts. There's no middleman. It's all done by blockchain using Ethereum. All the winnings go to you. The house doesn't take a cut. Now, do you see the power of Ethereum and smart contracts? Yeah. Cheers. So, in conclusion, basically what I wanted to really show you, I know I talked about the Polymarket and gambling, but that was a diversion, right? Really what I'm talking about is how blockchain can do a number of things, and this is just one example. We are taking out the middleman for doing gambling. I mean, this could possibly crush what happens on all the casinos and all of the sports betting places. That's what the future holds. That's where we're headed to. People are going to start using blockchain to do a number of things. Think of anything that you need a contract for. If you're going to buy a house, right? You do a mortgage. All that mortgage stuff can be done through blockchain. Anything that needs a contract, you can take out the middleman and just do it on a blockchain. That should lower prices. Now, obviously, it's going to wipe out a number of jobs. All these people that do the contracts and stuff, they are going to basically lose their job. That's what the future holds. But there's going to be new people coming in because you need someone to actually make the contract. Someone has to do that. So new jobs come in, old jobs go out. That's what I'm trying to show here. So whether you use the Polymarket or not, it was just a fun example to show you how blockchain works. Check it out. It's fun. It's cool. And just be on the lookout for how blockchain and cryptocurrencies are making their way in. I do not see these going away. I think Bitcoin, it may get replaced by another coin. I think Ethereum actually will become the number one coin, but they're not going away. All right? Cheers. Well, as you can see, my beer is almost empty. That means we're at the end of the show. If you want to contact me, I can reach at this email address. I hope I piqued your interest, not only in the Polymarket or Ethereum, but the whole blockchain system. Now, if you enjoyed this show, please click that like button. Of course, if you want to get notified of new shows, you click that subscription button and the little bell icon next to it. This will let you know when I do a new show. Till then, keep your beer cold and your interest hot. Cheers.